All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
You know how this works. You bring the cool stuff,
Oh,
and we unpack it.
we do.
Today, we are looking at composable architectures,
Oh, yeah.
specifically how headless CMS and API-first design
Uh-huh.
are really kind of shaking things up out there.
Big time.
And we're going to be taking this from an article on DevHooks
All right.
called Composable Architectures, Unlock Flexibility with Headless CMS and API-First Design.
Sounds good.
You know how software development can sometimes feel?
Oh, yeah.
Like you're trying to turn a battleship around.
It's like trying to change the tires on a moving car sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, with inertia.
We're going to be looking at a much more agile approach today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really about kind of getting away from these big monolithic systems
Right.
and starting to embrace a more modular approach.
Okay.
So think of it like Legos, right?
Okay.
Where each block is a specific function. And if you need to change or update something, you just swap out a block.
Instead of the whole...
You don't have to rebuild the entire thing.
Right.
It's much more targeted. It's much more efficient.
So instead of doing this huge overhaul, you're talking about targeted upgrades.
Exactly.
Like imagine I wanted to add a new payment gateway to my e-commerce site.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to change everything.
You don't have to touch the whole system.
I can just add that in.
Just swap out that piece.
That's a pretty powerful concept.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the key benefits of this whole composable architecture
Yeah.
is that flexibility, that agility.
Right.
Teams can work concurrently on different modules,
Right.
and that means faster development cycles,
Uh-huh.
quicker time to market.
Okay. And the article also mentions scalability and resilience as major advantages.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see how that would be a game changer, especially for
Yeah.
businesses that are dealing with rapid growth or fluctuating demand.
Yeah, you need to be able to respond quickly to changes,
Okay.
and that's what this allows you to do.
So imagine you're able to scale individual components of your application on demand, right?
Right.
Say you're running a marketing campaign. You're expecting a surge in traffic
Yeah,
coming to your website.
sure.
With this kind of architecture, you could easily scale up
Yeah,
the components that are responsible for handling those user requests
exactly.
without affecting the entire system.
That's right.
So much more efficient and I imagine cost-effective as well, right?
Absolutely.
Than trying to scale an entire monolithic system.
Yeah, you're only paying for what you need
Right. Okay.
when you need it.
So let's break down some of the specific technologies
Sure.
that are mentioned here. Right?
Okay.
First up, headless CMS.
All right.
Can you give us a quick rundown of what that means?
So traditional CMS platforms, they typically tie the content and the presentation together,
Okay.
which can be very limiting. So headless CMS kind of flips that on its head.
Oh,
It separates the content management from the presentation layer.
right.
So the content is delivered via APIs,
Uh-huh.
which means you can basically publish to any platform or device you can imagine.
Okay, so I could manage all my content in one place.
Right.
And then just use APIs to deliver to my website.
Yep.
To a mobile app.
Oh.
Even like my smart refrigerator if I wanted to.
Exactly. I mean, the sky's the limit, right?
Opens up a world of possibilities
A whole new world.
in terms of omni-channel content delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, I imagine it gives developers a lot more freedom
Huge freedom.
to use their preferred front-end tools
Yes.
and technologies
Yeah.
without being constrained by the CMS, right?
Exactly.
So that sounds like a win for both content creators
Oh, yeah.
and developers.
Big win for everybody.
And the article mentions Contentful, Sanity, and Strapi as some kind of key players in the headless CMS space.
Yeah, those are some of the big ones.
Are there any kind of technical aspects of headless CMS that we should be aware of?
Well, I think one thing to keep in mind is that you'll need a good understanding of APIs and how to work with them.
Okay.
Since the content is accessed and delivered via APIs,
Right.
developers will need to be comfortable with API concepts like REST, JSON, authentication, all that good stuff.
So it requires a little bit more of a learning curve.
A little bit of a learning curve,
It
but
ultimately gives you more
much more control.
control and flexibility in the long run.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next piece of the puzzle here.
Okay.
API first design.
Uh-huh.
What's the core idea here?
So API first design is really about shifting the focus from code to APIs as the foundation of your software architecture.
Interesting.
So it's about treating APIs as first-class citizens.
So not just using APIs
It's just tacking them
or designing the entire system around them.
Precisely. So that means that APIs are carefully planned and documented before any code is written.
Wow.
So that means that they are aligning with business needs.
Right.
And that they're easy to integrate with.
So that's a much more structured and deliberate approach than just kind of tacking them on as an afterthought.
Absolutely.
I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
So what are some of the, benefits of this design philosophy?
Well, one major benefit is reusability.
Okay.
When APIs are well-designed and well-documented,
Mm-hmm.
they can be reused across multiple projects and teams.
Makes sense.
This saves time, saves effort.
Uh-huh.
It also promotes better collaboration between developers.
Right.
Because everybody's working with a common set of standards.
They know what to expect.
Exactly.
And from a business perspective, I can see how that could really streamline development,
Oh, yeah.
speed up time to market.
Absolutely.
Are there any kind of particular challenges that come with adopting this API-first approach?
Well, one challenge is making sure that your APIs are designed in a way that can scale and adapt to future needs.
Right.
If your systems grow and evolve, your APIs need to keep up.
You don't want to have to rebuild the entire
Without breaking everything.
infrastructure every time you need to add a new feature.
Exactly.
So we've got the headless CMS managing our content.
Uh-huh.
We've got API-first design kind of laying the groundwork
The blueprint.
for how everything communicates.
Right.
How do these two concepts come together
Okay, so
to create a composable architecture?
think of it like this. Headless CMS provides the building blocks.
Okay.
Right? The content.
Okay.
And API-first design provides the blueprint
All right.
for how those blocks fit together.
So they complement each other perfectly.
They work hand in hand.
Yeah, I'm really starting to see
Yeah.
how this modular API-driven approach
Yeah.
could
It's a game changer.
really revolutionize software development.
That's
It's pretty cool.
It's exciting times.
Yeah. So let's look at how this all comes together in the real world.
Right.
The article mentioned e-commerce as a prime example.
Perfect example.
So let's jump into that.
Let's do it.
So we've laid all the groundwork.
Yeah.
Let's look at how this actually comes together in the real world.
Real world example.
The article mentioned e-commerce
Right.
as a prime example.
Yeah, makes sense.
So imagine you're an online retailer,
Okay.
and all of a sudden, neon green shoelaces are
Yeah.
the must-have accessory
All right, I'm with you.
with a traditional setup.
Yeah.
Adding that product to your website,
Okay.
to your inventory, to your marketing materials,
yeah, it's a nightmare.
that could be a massive headache.
Oh, it's a huge pain.
But with a composable architecture, each of those functions
Mm-hmm.
is like its own module, right?
Exactly.
All communicating seamlessly through APIs.
Yep.
So adding those trendy neon laces is as simple as updating the product catalog
Just update the catalog.
in your headless CMS,
That's it.
and then boom, those changes automatically flow through to your inventory system,
Yep.
your e-commerce platform,
Uh-huh.
even personalized marketing email.
Exactly.
No more manually updating
Bear.
a dozen different systems.
Yeah. Who wants to do that?
That's got to be a huge time saver, especially
in e-commerce.
when trends are changing so quickly.
Things move so fast.
And what are those Black Friday, Cyber Monday,
Oh, yeah.
traffic spikes?
That's where this really shines.
Right.
Scalability on demand.
So instead of worrying about your entire site crushing, right?
Yeah.
You can just scale up
Right.
the specific modules that are under pressure, right?
Exactly. Like your product pages
All
or your payment gateway.
It's like having a custom-built shock absorber
I like that analogy.
for your website,
Yeah.
ready to handle those
Or for anything.
high traffic moments.
Oh. Yeah. Bring it on.
The article also highlighted media and publishing
Right.
as another industry
Good
where
example.
these architectures are making a big impact.
Big time.
What's the advantage there?
Well, think about how we consume content now, right? We're not just reading articles on websites anymore.
It's true.
We're watching videos on our phones.
Uh-huh.
We're listening to podcasts on smart speakers.
Yep.
We're even getting news updates from our smartwatches.
Right. So many different platforms.
It's a multi-platform world.
Yeah, keeping up with all of those different
It's a challenge.
formats can be really challenging
Yeah, for sure.
for publishers, right?
Absolutely.
And that's where a headless CMS
Oh.
becomes super powerful.
Yeah, really powerful.
Instead of having to manage
Right.
separate content for each of those platforms.
Yeah, who wants to do that?
You can create the content once
Right.
and then just use APIs to deliver it to any device.
In the optimal format for that device?
So whether I'm reading a news article on my phone
Right.
or watching a video on my smart TV, I'm getting
a consistent experience.
Seamless, consistent experience.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
What about things like personalized recommendations?
Oh, yeah,
You know, dynamic content.
Can composable architectures handle that?
Absolutely. Because each module is independent.
Right.
And they communicate through APIs.
Right.
It makes it much easier to integrate things like recommendation engines, personalization tools, all that stuff.
So you can tailor content
Exactly.
to specific user preferences,
Yep. The ultimate personalized experience.
like having a personal editor curating
Yeah, I like that.
my news feed for me.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so we've seen how this can benefit e-commerce, media companies.
Right.
What about larger enterprises
Okay.
with like complex interconnected systems?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Think about departments like marketing, sales, customer service. They're often working with different systems that don't talk to each other.
I've seen that firsthand.
Yeah, it's a classic problem.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle
Right.
and everyone has different pieces,
But nobody has the full picture.
but nobody has the whole picture, right?
Exactly. So with a composable architecture, each department system becomes a module,
Okay.
right, that can communicate with the others via APIs.
So you have a unified view
Yep.
of customer data.
Yep.
And then you can streamline workflows across
Across the entire organization.
the entire organization.
It's a game changer.
So instead of having these isolated data silos,
Right.
you have like a connected ecosystem
Yeah, everything's talking to each other.
where information flows freely.
Yeah, much better.
That's going to be huge for collaboration and decision-making.
Huge. It also allows teams to update their systems without breaking things in other departments
Right, because they're not all
because they're independent.
interconnected in that way.
Excuse me?
So it fosters agility and allows for faster innovation.
That's the key.
It sounds like composable architectures are almost like a universal adapter
I like that.
for the modern enterprise,
Huh?
connecting disparate systems and enabling them to work together
Working together in harmony.
harmoniously.
Beautiful.
But it's important to remember that implementing
Right.
a composable architecture isn't without its challenges.
Yeah.
There are always challenges.
The article did mention some potential hurdles.
Sure.
So let's talk about those.
Let's do it.
One of the challenges it mentioned was the need for specialized skills and tools
Yeah, you're going to need people who know what they're doing.
to manage this system
Exactly.
of interconnected modules.
Right.
Requires expertise in API design,
Yep.
integration, security, all that good stuff.
All of that.
You also need like robust monitoring,
Oh, for sure.
management tools to make sure everything's running smoothly.
You got to keep an eye on things.
And I imagine migrating from a
Legacy monolithic system
right.
to a composable architecture
Yeah, that can be tricky.
can be a pretty complex undertaking.
It's not a walk in the park.
It requires careful planning,
Lots of plans.
testing, often a phased approach
Yeah, you don't want to do it all at once.
to ensure a smooth transition.
Right, you got to break it down into manageable chunks.
And even once you've migrated, there's the ongoing challenge of API governance.
Ah, yes, API governance.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so API governance is basically about setting up clear standards
Yep.
and processes for managing your APIs.
Okay.
Things like security protocols,
Right.
documentation,
Ah.
versioning, rate limiting,
Okay.
all that good stuff.
To ensure that
And make sure
your APIs remain secure,
secure
reliable, and easy to use
for everyone.
for developers both within and outside
Inside and outside, yeah.
of your organization.
It's about creating a good developer experience.
So it's not just about building the architecture.
Right.
It's about creating a sustainable ecosystem
Exactly.
for your APIs to thrive in.
It's about the long game.
Okay, so we've covered the benefits,
Uh-huh.
the real-world applications,
Yep.
even the
The
challenges
good, the bad, and the ugly.
of composable architecture.
That's right.
We've seen how this like modular API-driven approach
Mhm.
offers incredible flexibility,
So much flexibility.
scalability, agility
Flexibilities.
for businesses of all sizes
Big or small.
across various industries.
That's right.
But like, what does this all mean
Okay, good question.
for our listener?
Yeah, how does this apply to them?
How can they apply these concepts to their own work
Right.
or area of interest?
I think that's a really important question. It's really a fundamental shift in how we think about building and managing software systems.
So it's not just for the engineers out there.
Not at all. This is bigger than just writing code.
Okay, so what are we talking about then?
It's about embracing modularity, flexibility, and really understanding the power of APIs.
Okay, so like no matter who you are,
It's
whether
relevant.
you're like a developer building a new app
Right?
or you're a business leader looking to modernize, it's like your whole technology stack.
Absolutely.
Understanding these principles
Yeah.
can give you a real edge.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It is. It really is. And think about
Yeah.
the systems that we interact with every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Online banking, social media,
Uh-huh.
e-commerce platforms,
All of it.
all running on this stuff.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And imagine a world where those systems
Yeah.
are much more interconnected, adaptable.
That's the dream.
Right.
That's where we're headed.
Where, like, my social media app
Huh?
seamlessly integrates with my productivity tools
Right.
or my online shopping experience
Okay.
is tailored to my preferences.
Exactly. That's the power of this approach.
That's the potential of composable architectures.
It is. It really is.
They're breaking down the walls
Mm.
between systems
No more silo.
and empowering users
Yeah.
to create these truly connected experiences.
It's about making technology work for us, not the other way around.
And as we've seen today, this isn't just some futuristic vision.
Right.
This is happening right now.
It's already here.
Businesses across all these different industries are embracing it,
And they're reaping the rewards.
driving innovation, transforming how we interact with technology.
It's an exciting time to be in tech.
So what's the key takeaway
Okay.
for our listener here?
I think the key takeaway is this. The future of software is composable.
Okay.
Embracing this approach will allow you to build better systems.
Okay.
Systems that are more resilient, more adaptable, more user-centered, that can thrive in this crazy digital world that we live in.
We've got to be able to adapt quickly, right?
Absolutely. That's the key.
It's about moving beyond those limitations of those old monolithic systems.
Right. We're breaking free.
Embracing a more modular, flexible approach.
That's the future.
And as we discussed, this requires not only technical expertise,
Uh-huh.
but also a shift in mindset,
Absolutely. You got to be willing to change how you think about things.
a whole new way of thinking,
It is.
a mindset that prioritizes
Agility, collaboration,
and a deep understanding of APIs.
and how they connect everything.
It's all about connections.
Empower the digital world.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep building amazing things.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive
It's been a journey.
into composable architectures.
I hope you all enjoyed it.
We hope you found this exploration insightful
We hope it sparked some ideas.
and that it'll spark your own curiosity
Absolutely.
about the future of software.
It's an exciting future.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.
See ya!